Early on a beautiful Saturday morning in Adelaide's West, the under-18 reigning premiers came to play an Eagles team that still had a slim chance of making the finals. It was a slim chance, but a chance nonetheless. The Tigers came into this match intent on righting past wrongs. Last week's loss to the Double Blues locked the top three teams together at the top of the ladder on 24 points each. This week was going to be different, and Brodie Murdoch was going to make sure of it. After 3 defeats in a row, the Tigers needed a new weapon, and Brodie made the trip up from Port Macdonald with all guns loaded, and he fired no less than 9 times. Brodie has only played for this team 6 times this season, and he scored 37 goals in those appearances. Of course, Brodie knows all about scoring goals. Back in round 12, he notched up 11 against the Dogs to collect the MVP award for the round. And the return of a bundle of Sacred Heart players made a big difference for Glenelg in round 20. Tim Lawrence's boys won the third quarter impressively, to say the least. At half-time, the Eagles were still in this contest, 4 goals down, but they had the encouragement of the home fans slowly building for the reserves and league matches to follow. But between them, Brodie Murdoch, Nathan Stark and Wade Hancock quickly killed off any hopes that the Eagles might have harboured. The third quarter saw Glenelg outscore their opponents 10 goals to 1. That final spot was looking less likely every time Glenelg delivered inside 50. At three-quarter time, Glenelg led by 13 goals, and it didn't really matter that the Eagles won the final quarter. And despite a solid performance from James Batty with 18 kicks and 11 handballs, they weren't about to bridge the gap. This win to the Tigers kept the pressure on the Magpies and the Double Blues as they snatched top place back again, if only for a couple of hours. At Woodville Oval, it was Glenelg by 47 points over the Eagles. Later that afternoon, the Magpies hosted the Double Blues, knowing only too well that Glenelg had stolen top spot on the ladder away from them, so only a win would suffice for coach Matthew Webber. But with Sturt fresh off their round 19 win over Glenelg, this would be no mere formality. In fact, this match turned out to be a good, hard-fought contest right from the start. Honours were even at the stoppages. Chris Lysett and Brandon Pointer matched each other in the ruck. The 17-year-old Magpie from the Thevenard Football Club won 27 of the hitouts, while potential draftee Brandon Pointer from the Mount Barker Football Club grabbed 26. But it was what Port Adelaide did with the ball when they had possession that made the difference, and the aim was plain and simple: get the ball to 17-year-old Tom Durham. We first saw Tom Durham back in round 14 when he showed us that he's much more than a medium-fast bowler in the summer. Tom had just come down from the South Broken Hill Football Club and was playing for Paraka when the Magpies snapped him up. Tom scored 5 goals on debut for the Magpies, and he scored another very valuable 5 goals in this game. Tom's stat sheet is pretty impressive from last Saturday: 11 kicks, 6 handballs and a very handy 8 marks, all contributing to the Port Adelaide cause on what was a must-win day for his team. Best on ground for Port was 18-year-old Damien Tam from the Blackfriars College. The 2010 under-18's most consistent player for Port was again consistent under pressure in this match. Damien's 35 disposals were all a result of his ability to read the play and be in the right place at the right time. He consistently delivered the ball to the forwards, and Tom Durham and Harley Tiller did the rest. Sturt had some great chances in this match and stayed in the contest right up until the final term. Harley Montgomery was easily best for the Double Blues with 36 disposals and 1 goal, but despite only trailing by 2 goals at the last break, the Magpies would prove too strong in a very entertaining final quarter with 11 goals scored. Unfortunately for Sturt, Port scored most of them, and it was the Magpies happily taking top spot back again, winners by 20 points over the Double Blues. There were 2 evening fixtures last Saturday. This one featured the 2 bottom teams with some significant statistics in 2011. The Panthers' stat is that they've been bottom all season, and the Bloods claimed the fame is that before today they were the only team to have ever drawn twice in the under-18 competition. Well, in round 20 both teams built on those ignominious stats. The Panthers are still bottom, and with only 3 fixtures left, they'll stay bottom. As for the Bloods, they're now the only team to have ever drawn 3 times, and one of them was last week. So when 8th meets 9th, you might expect a scrappy contest, and that's what we got. West Adelaide's tackling in the first quarter was good, but some poor handballs in the second quarter would see them lose possession on more than one occasion. South's accuracy wasn't much better, with some poor kicking resulting in nearly 3 times as many behinds as goals for the home team. For West, Ben Smith was best on ground with a reasonably consistent performance throughout the match. Ben bagged 15 kicks and 14 handballs, but over a third of those handballs missed their intended target. There were 7 goal scorers for the Bloods, but the only multiple goal kicker was Michael Manuzzo, but even he struggled to find the form he's shown in previous weeks. For South, Ryan Sherry across half forward was leading goal scorer with 3 goals on the night, and he was best across all games, picking up the Maccas Cup MVP for round 20. And making a comeback in his first game for 12 months was Ryan Marnie. He had a solid game and even managed a goal in the nail-biting final quarter. The Panthers led by 11 points early in the term, but goals to Reece Spawn and Miles Sumner put the Bloods 1 point up with just minutes remaining. The Panthers had the chance to win it just a minute later, but a rush behind would lock the scores level at 60 points each. And so yet another draw involving the West Adelaide Football Club gave the Panthers just their 5th premiership point of the season and lifted the Bloods to the lofty position of 7th on the ladder, honours even at the Noarlunga Oval. The other evening fixture was at the Prospect Oval, and it wasn't a draw, far from it. Norwood went into this as the favourites and they didn't disappoint. The Roosters are clinging to 5th place, and they would have been relieved to see the Eagles lose earlier in the day, giving them some breathing room as finals approach. The Roosters fielded possibly their most inexperienced side for the entire season, with 15 of the team under 17 or even under 16 years of age. Meeting a Redlegs team in good form at this end of the season was no doubt a great experience for these boys, but as you would expect, they were hopelessly outclassed. But with 13 players coming back from college football in the coming weeks, North Adelaide might yet be a force to be reckoned with come September. Norwood was well served by Trent Dumont, a small but gutsy defender from the Golden Grove Football Club. Part of the victorious under-16 state team last month, Trent covered a huge amount of territory on Saturday night, pushing inside North's 50-metre zone 7 times and notching up his 6th goal for the season to add to the 11 he scored for the under-16s. Trent's teammate in the stateside was James Aish, and Norwood welcomed James back into the team for the first time this month, and although he didn't seem to shine as brightly as in previous weeks, he did help himself to a goal in the final quarter. He didn't have a huge amount of the football, but he used it with sublime accuracy. And talking of accuracy, every one of Eddie O'Connor's 14 hand passes met its mark, and he scored 2 goals for the 3rd time this season. That's definitely a good game. Norwood finished round 20 just 1 point behind the Double Blues and looking every bit ready for the finals, winners by 95 points over North Adelaide.